Hello pilots and ground crew, welcome back to my channel again. Well, as we know, winter's upon us. Well, it's autumn actually, but it's almost winter. And we still like to get out with our quads and stuff, but there's a few things new pilots have to know about to do with quads. Alright, and the first thing I'm going to mention is your batteries. Alright, when it's really cold, you will not get as much flight time out your batteries, and in some cases you can get considerably less, almost 50% less flight time, right, in some rare cases. However, there is things you can do to help that situation, and plus also obviously if your batteries get icy cold they can get damaged completely, so you don't want that to happen, but that really goes without saying. Alright, but there's a few things you can do to help keep your flight batteries going. Now, not everybody has a car, and some people that do have a car, they drive to wherever to go flying, and then they might walk a good 5-10 minutes before they actually get to the spot. So it's not convenient to go backwards and forwards to the car, to get your batteries. So your best bet is, first of all, if you're near your car, leave your batteries in your car, common sense, but wrap them up in a towel. Have them wrapped in a towel in a bag in your car to try and keep them as warm as possible, and take one out at a time as you're flying. Now let's assume, like I said, you park your car and you have to walk 10 minutes, so you're nowhere near your car basically. If you're doing that, you'll probably have some type of backpack. Well, yeah, you can wrap your batteries up again in a towel, in a warm towel, in your backpack, but because you're out and about, your bag's going to get colder and colder and colder, so your batteries are going to run down colder and colder and colder. Well, there is a little thing you can do which will help a bit. Just before you walk out the door, get your towel, fold it up, whack it in the microwave. Not with the batteries in. No, sorry, but I know if I didn't say that, somebody would if I didn't say it. Not with the batteries in. No, put your towel in the microwave for a minute or two, depending how powerful your microwave is, you'll know that. But get your towel nice and hot, so when you take your towel out, it's hot. And then have your batteries in a bag. Don't just wrap your batteries in the hot towel. Have your batteries in some sort of Lipo safe bag. Then wrap that towel around the bag. Then shove it into your backpack and go for your hike to go flying in. Now, the towel, the temperature will obviously start to drop. That goes without saying. But that temperature will go into the Lipo bag and transfer to your batteries to keep them warm for quite a long time, and it does work. I've done that quite a few times, quite a few times when I parked up when I know I'm going to be somewhere where I'm not near the car, I should say. Towel in the microwave, batteries in Lipo bag, before you walk out the door, and then wrap the towel around the Lipo bag and then shove it in your backpack, and you know what I mean, it really does hold the heat and keep your batteries at a good temperature. Just take one battery out at a time, and that will help your longevity of your batteries. Right, there you go then, batteries. Now let's move on to your actual quad. And waterproofing your quad with this silicone I can never bloody pronounce that. Tell you what, just a minute, getting old, get the glasses out, I can never pronounce it. I can never pronounce it. Silicone modified conformal coating. Basically, let's be honest, it's a liquid that dries, for want of a better word, into a rubber, but it's a little bit more than that, and it's not exactly a rubber, but it's a liquid that dries into like a rubber, for want of like a rubber. Shut up, George. Like a rubber, and you put it on your electrical parts, so that if you crash, or should I say when you crash, because we all crash, winter, in the snow, in a puddle, soaking wet grass, soaking wet mud, so your electrics don't short out. Alright, I tell you right now, do not put it in your XT60s. Right, your connectors for your batteries, do not put it in there. Please do not put it in there. I know somebody who did. Well, he knackered his battery up basically. Oh, my battery's not working anymore. We went through loads of bloody things trying to figure out what was wrong, and then he told me what he'd done. He'd put this stuff inside his XT60 thinking waterproofing his battery. Don't do it. Anyway, yeah, there's also a couple more things, a couple more places where this stuff should not go. Alright, so I've grabbed a flight control board, alright, and just jumped down to the bench, put it on, tell you a couple of little tips about it, alright, what you should and shouldn't do. But before we start, I'm going to say something. I have asthma, alright, I have asthma, alright. This stuff is very, I don't know the word, it gives off a lot of fumes, right, and it's toxic as well, like, so don't drink it. It gives off a hell of a lot of fumes, right, so if you've got a bad chest, right, wear a mask, right, you know the little, like, woodworking mask, so that a little mask of any description, just wear some sort of mask when you're using it, and use it in a well ventilated area. Right, because it's pungent stuff, it does stink. Right, if you've only got a small room, if you're living like a bedsit or whatever, have your table when you're going to do this next to a window, have the window open, leave the window open, right, which will be a bit of a pain for you because, well, wait till you see it on the table, you're talking a few hours and stuff like that. Right, so in winter leaving the window open ain't great, but it's very toxic, so please, if you've got a bad chest, wear a mask. I mean, I've been using this for a couple of years now and I always wear a mask. Well, actually that's a lie. I was using this one last year, I was using something different the year before. Alright, because there's all sorts of different types. But yeah, wear a mask if you've got a bad chest. Alright, and not a necessity, but I always put a rubber glove on to hold the board. Right, so I don't get the chemicals on my hand, because I'm always worried at some point when I'm doing it I get it on my hand and without thinking just touch your eye, so, or something like that, soaking into the skin. Maybe that's a bit too paranoid, maybe you don't need to wear rubber gloves, but I always do. Right, and have a paper tissue next to you, right, because if you knock that over, right, you want to get it up quick. Okay then, let's have a look at the board and I'll show you basically how to put it on. Okay then, to the board. Right then pilots, first of all I would advise you to pick up some sort of cleaner. Right, I'm using alcohol 70% cleaner here. Right, it's for first aid basically if you cut yourself or whatever. Right, and give your board a good wipe down to get it nice and clean to start off with. What I like to do with that is I put it in a little plastic tub. I'll just move this coating up the road. I put it in a little plastic tub, dip my toothbrush in it and just give me my board or whatever just to clean down, just so when you put the conformal coating on, right, you're not sticking down the actual rubbish, if you know what I mean. You're not actually sticking down the crap. Right, I've picked this particular flight board to show you deliberately, right, for the simple reasons it's got a lot going on. And when I say a lot going on, what I mean is there's plenty of areas on this board where you don't want that stuff to go. Right, so let's have a quick look and show you what to do and why you should do it. For starters, right, this has got an MMCX connector, right, opened up right on the top, so you want an antenna plugging in there to cover it up, right, to make sure none of the silicone goes in or you'll be buggering up your signal. Also on this side here there's a little boot button, right, you don't want no coating on the boot button, right, because if you do it'll stop it from working and you'll be sorry. Right, including, right, your little, this is a little button here to adjust for me, I nearly said ESC then, my VTX. You want that covered up as well. You don't want any of the silicone coating because it dries hard like a rubber and it'll stop stuff from working. Also, any open ports, if you see here I've got a spare lead plugged into this port, right, but the other ones are all soldered on other stuff. It's a long story. But yeah, so I plugged one in there, but because I don't have any more leads for these two, which this one would be for the buzzer and stuff, and this side is for the receiver. Let me zoom out a bit. Yeah, this side is for the receiver, so I am using them. If I wasn't using them, I wouldn't care if any of the silicone got in. Alright, so they're like, oh, and also your USB port, you do not want any silicone, right, inside, any waterproofing stuff inside that USB port. That's something you do not want. Right, oh, when you're using this stuff, you put some paper in. I'm using greaseproof paper just to any splashes or whatever, but that's up to you. Get a cloth, rubber glove if you want, whatever. Right, so protection first. So what I'm going to do first of all is take the USB port and plug a USB socket into it. So I know now none of that stuff can get inside because the USB plug is protecting it. Now as for the bind button, the boot button and the VTX button, what I like to do is just get a little bit of blue tack, right, and okay, this does mean you are not going to get that silicone sealant on every area because the blue tack will push across a little bit further. But what you have to remember is if you get it on your boot button, you'll never be able to use your boot button again, or you might have to spend about 18 hours trying to get it off. And a little bit of blue tack, the old trusty blue tack, over the button for the VTX, even though I don't mess about too much with the button on the VTX because I do it all in smart audio. However, it's always best to make sure. Now as for these pins here, right, because I ain't got a GST to plug into it, I do not want to put blue tack in there because it could stick in and I'll be in a world of trouble trying to get it out. So just for a little bit of protection, right, I just get once again a bit of blue tack, right, don't ram it in, I just literally just sit it over the top gently and just wrap it round. This is a lot of messing about, right, before you actually start putting the stuff on, but you'll be bloody glad you did it, because if you get any of this conformal coating inside them pins, right, you basically just throw your board away and get another one. Alright, so we've got one on the other side. Your best bet is if you happen to have your plugs, put your bloody plugs in. Alright, but as I just said, mine are scattered throughout the known universe, or should I say the workshop. Right, so it's just to cover them up. Now that don't mean you can go mental, you still have to pay attention to what you're doing. Alright, oh, last thing, the antenna, the FPV antenna, the MMCX connector port, right, that wants to go in to make sure none of the silicone goes in there, and now we're off. But you still have to be careful, right, because like I said, that's only a bit of blue tack around there. Now I know I've already said it, well ventilated room to use this stuff. You'll smell the fumes, you will smell the fumes, and if you've got a bad chest, right, wear a face mask, which I should be wearing. Right, but it'd be a bit silly, right, because you won't hear me. So you've cleaned your quad, you've got it all bunged up and protected. After you've cleaned it, by the way, with the alcohol rub, give it an hour. Right, even though this stuff, alcohol rub evaporates very, very fast, but give it an hour before you actually put the sealant on. This is not a job to be rushed. This is a job where you're thinking 2 or 3 days or whatever, you've got nothing to do, you can't fly. Oh, I know what I'll do, I'll strip my quad down. Because that's ideally, Yeah, if you've got a brand new component that you're putting in, much easier, you can get on with it. But if you're going to strip your quad down, you really want 2 or 3 days just to relax, because you want to be leaving this stuff as well. Alright, so I've seen videos, right, I'm going to zoom out a bit here. I've seen videos where people just lather this on, right, and there's no need. Right, you want a fair bit on. In fact, I ain't got enough on my brush there. You want a fair bit on, right, and even though I've got a USB port, USB plug in there, you still want to be careful. Right, and go around all your joints where you're going to solder. You see there's some solder already on this board because I've used it before, but it don't matter, because once you wire it up to your quad, right, you're going to resolder it again, right, and you can solder straight through this stuff, right, no problems. You can solder straight through it. Just move that antenna out the road to get this out. Yeah, you can solder straight through it, no problem. God, I can smell that on my bloody nose and on my chest. And then once you've actually soldered your wires on, right, just go around, give it a quick dab on top of your wires again, just to make sure. Yeah, get all your little areas around your wires, and you're not going to do any damage as long as you don't get it into them ports and stuff that we've talked about. Right, because the idea is to waterproof it, so that's what you want to do, waterproof it. Alright, and turn her over and do the other side. I know this bit's a bit boring, but stay with me, because there's something else you need to know after this bit. But and you'll notice I am not, and I know I said it, but I'm not lavishing it on. I'm not putting loads on, especially the price in the UK. You can pick this stuff up in the US, right, for about bloody $6 to $8, which is what, about 10 quid in British money. Right. However, you try and buy it in the UK, you're looking at 20 quid, maybe more. Right. Now that's all done, but it's not super thick or out like that. Now at this point, what you need to do, hang on, can I get the bloody lid back on? Yeah, at this point what you need to do is leave it a couple of hours. Just leave it a couple of hours, right, then go back and put another coat on. Now that's where a lot of people say, oh, I used that stuff and it didn't work. Well, it does work if you use it right. After 2 hours, go back and put another coat on. After 2 hours, go back and put the third coat on. Just like if you were painting a house or a fence, right? Needs more than 1 coat of paint, right? But you want 3 coats of this stuff on, right? Then after you've done that, leave it 24 hours before you fly. You do not want to just whack it in and start flying. 24 hours before you fly, okay? Don't be tempted, you don't think, oh well, I've got all that coating on now, I'll take all my plasticine, blue tack stuff off, and no, leave it. So this is a job you want to do on some sort of table or tray or something. So when you've done it for the first time, you can just pick it up, go put it in the corner of the room, right, and leave it and forget about it. In a well ventilated room, like I said, this stuff, right, will get on your chest. Okay, like I can really smell it now on my chest, but as I said, I have asthma and I should be wearing a mask. Suffering for my art, suffering for you lot, you know I am. I'm suffering for you. Yeah, so there you go. Leave it a couple of hours, go back, put another coat on. Leave it a couple of hours, go back and put the third and final coat on, and then leave it 24 hours to fully soak in before you start flying with it. Do not put any in your connector, whether it be an ES, an XT60, D, no matter what connector you're using for you, but do not put any in there, and do not put any in your battery plug either, right? Put it everywhere else, right? And you don't have to panic when you, it's like my first coat there, I know there's probably the odd little bit I missed, but I'm going to put 2 more coats on, right? And that is the main reason. Well, no, that's not true, but that's one of the reasons why you put 3 coats on. The first coat you might miss a bit, the second coat you'll probably get it, the third coat, right, it's going to give it that extra boost of protection, so if it does get wet it's not going to short out. Right, and that doesn't mean once you've fully waterproofed all your electrics, right, you deliberately crash into a pond, right, just to see if it works, because if it doesn't work and it shorts out your board, you're going to be bloody sorry. Right then, pilots and ground crew. Oh yeah, ESC is slightly different, right? You don't plug anything into your ESCs, right? So you can really go to town on your ESCs, right? If it's a 4-in-1 ESC, obviously it's going to have some sort of port coming off here, all right, with your wires. Make sure your JST plug is plugged into it. Right, if it's a standalone ESC, it's just got the wires and you can really go to town with it. If it comes with heat shrink on, take the heat shrink off it. Alright, go to town on the ESC, then put some more heat shrink on. But like I say, 3 coats and then 24 hours. 1 coat, 2 hours. 1 coat, 2 hours. 1 coat, 24 hours. Okay then, pilots and ground crew, I believe I've covered everything, and I hope this helps. Cheers.